everybody? Richard Dolan here for a courageous conversation.
Well, man, today you're right. There's no going back.
How do you feel the weight of that desire?
I have been there for a while.
The story's still being written, and you cut the story short. As they say, I'm playing with house money.
And it's funny because people need to laugh.
You just pass it through, brother.
Once you start a courageous conversation, there ain't ever going back to an ordinary one.
What's up, everybody? It is a Friday afternoon. And in some parts of the world, that doesn't even matter anymore. Well, we are joined by so many good-looking people. And of course, I'm only talking about Helen and Christine and Samantha. And of course, Yusuf. You can't say good looking without including Yusuf. What's up, man? Christine, how are you today? Let's see if I'm co-host here, because nope, I'm not co-host. So that could be a trick.
Oh, there. Maybe I did it. Hi.
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
Yes. Hi. I'm well. Thank you. Richard, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You're keeping healthy and well?
Yes. Thank you.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Okay. So, so that being, thank you very much, Ken. Good to have you here, buddy. Let me go over here to Samantha. Samantha and I, we just had a chat. We should probably save that for a little bit later until more people show up. But I'll introduce Samantha Roberts soon. So I won't spoil it for everybody. So how about I say that? I'll just say hi to you, though, at least, Samantha.
Hi. Hi.
Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Good, good, good. All right. I'll move along. So we just lost Helen. Oh, we got Helen back. How you doing, Helen? Good to see you. Hey, Eileen, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. You're keeping well?
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. Good. Good to have you. Hey, Heather, we got a chat this weekend.
Yes, we do. Please.
Please. Of course, with Robert. Not Robert
Yes.
Hite, but you're Robert. You're Robert.
Yes, thank you.
That's okay. You're welcome. That's good. I see you. We're going to let more people come on in because I know that we also are running simultaneously. There's another talk going on with Grant, but I know that he's winding that down. So some people are a little bit late in coming over here, which is fine. We're recording this for everybody and anybody across the planet, around the world. It's really good to see Steve's in the house. Good to see you, Steven. Good to see you, buddy. There we go. You're back, Helen. How are you? Well, she's
Hi, Ricky. Good morning. How are you?
What time is it over in your part of the world?
6:30 a.m.
Woo! Man, no one can make excuses about why they can't make it and why they can't get there. You have zero excuse because you make it all work.
Yeah, I just what I've done, because we've just lost summertime and gone to wintertime. So I've just reorganized my morning schedule. So I do all my Zoom meetings and everything first in the morning, and then I go for my run. So I've had to move my day around, but that makes it work.
Good for you. Well, hey, listen, because people are asking about why don't you, if you've just joined us for the call, why don't you put your name and where you're from in the chat room so everyone here gets a chance to see where you're from. Starting with Helen, she is all the way out in the other part of the world, but I'll leave it to her to let you know exactly what part of the world and what town in particular she's from.
So I'm from a small town south of Sydney in Australia. It's called Huskisson. It's absolutely beautiful. It's part of Jervis Bay Marine Park. So beautiful crystal clear water. If you check out my Instagram, every morning I go for a run, I put a stunning picture on there. So it's Helen_Delaney_, and you can have a little tour of the south coast of Australia every morning.
Fantastic. Well, it'd be nice. Why don't you put your handle in there into the chat room? It'd be great for you to put that in there. And by the way, everybody that's here, you should be putting your IG handle inside the chat room, because remember, this is just a conversation. There's nothing for sale here today. This is the chance for us to kind of just declare the week is over. You've made it in one piece. Here you are. You're alive. You're well. You're breathing. And we're going to be joined momentarily by a very delightful guest, a good friend, and a great inspiration for what it means to persevere in all times and every time. But let's just see where everyone's from. So we got definitely heard from Helen. So it's all the way from Australia. We got Keith UT in the house. Good to see you, buddy, all the way from Calgary. It's good to have Kim O'Sullivan from Abbotsford, BC. I heard you guys have snow. I'm not sure if that's true. But Monica, good to have you all the way in with our courageous conversation from Toronto. Awesome. We have Ronaldo in from San Diego. We've got Yusuf in from Germany. Simi's in from Toronto. We got lots of Toronto in the house. We got Christine in the house. Eileen from Atlanta. Come on, girl. We've got lots of folks. Good to have Dallas in the house as well. So lots of really good people in the house. Colorado in the house. What's up, Naran? So ladies, let's say, Dallas, how are you? I'm going to meet you. How you doing?
I'm good.
You keeping well?
Yes, I'm doing great.
That picture in the background is a real romantic one. Is that you and your significant other?
Yeah, that's from a cruise we went on together.
That is so cool. Well done. Well, it's good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. So yeah. Hey, Angie, how are you?
What?
I unmuted you. You're good. Oh, you just muted yourself though.
Oh, there we go. I think we're going back and forth. There we go. I'm doing great.
Nice.
I'm loving life, busy as ever. It's awesome.
Good. I'm happy to hear that. I'm really happy to hear that. But hey, listen, folks, for those who've been here before, welcome back. For those who are getting here for the very first time, as you all know, I'm really delighted to have each and every one of you here because this week is all about you talking about how you survived yet another week with this crisis at hand, with all that's going on. But I can't continue without saying hello to our very good bearded friend, Sebastien Dodard. How are you, my friend? How's it going over there, buddy?
Well, we're good. We're good.
You keeping well, man?
Well, Haiti's still in trouble, but we're working. We're still working a bit.
Well, as my grandfather would say, is if you can get yourself in some trouble, that the good news is you're alive. So get into some. Good stuff. Good to have you, man. Good to have you. What's up, Steve? Steve Druth in the house. I saw you last night. Good to see you again.
How you doing, Richard?
Good to have you, man. Yeah, you keeping well?
Good week. Good week.
Good. Happy to hear.
I've got Uncle G. I got Uncle G playing in the background.
Oh my God, that's where all of my people are. Everyone's got Uncle G in the background. I got him over there right now in the background. I mean, it's just 10x all over the place. So let's just start off by saying that it's been an incredible week. And for those who haven't heard, it is very, very important for me to first and foremost say hello to all of you on behalf of Grant Cardone. I mean, at the end of the day, this is all about having great conversations and, more importantly, courageous conversations with each and every one of you at the end of the week. So whether you're drinking some good Java, whether you're getting a glass of tea, a cup of tea, or a cup of something great, here's to everybody. Here's to another great week. Hope you had a wonderful one. We're going to get started. Cheers to surviving Corona or COVID or whatever it's called. Cheers. Now, with all that being said, I'm delighted to have already online at the very front end of this conversation, a very dear friend of mine, Mr. Robert Hite is in the house. Now, before he says anything, I got to say a few things. I've met a lot of professional athletes in my time. And in fact, for those who don't know, I've been a performance advisor to a number of athletes across the NBA, MLB, NHL, and the F1. But rare is it I ever find someone who's actually been both an athlete and then made the crossover into being a professional. And for Robert, that's who he is. Former player with the Miami Heat. Robert not only is an athlete, you're probably in better shape now than you've ever been, by the way, brother. But I mean, this dude is also a current player in the Big Three League, which is a league that's currently televised, co-owned by Ice Cube, known probably for being not just a rapper, not just an actor, but an incredible sports enthusiast, and many other things that I don't want to share too much because I want to get to those things. But first and foremost, Robert Hite in the house. Let's give him a real warm welcome. Big warm welcome. Absolutely. What's up, Robert?
What's going on, my man?
Good, man. How you doing? How you keeping this week?
I mean, all is well. Actually, I've been kind of busy, man. Some real estate stuff, and I have some connections with some hospitals that need medical supplies. So I've been trying to help them get, things that they need to help fight this coronavirus, this COVID-19, and just trying to stay as busy and as active as possible.
Well, now for those who don't know, that you still are a Miami resident, you're entrenched in the community. I mean, you're really dialed into the social life, the club life, the developer life. And before we get into the real estate and the business that you've got, but tell me what the current environment is like in Miami for those who don't know. We've only got a handful of people who are on this call from Miami, but from across the states, we've got people here from Canada, across Europe, and across the Caribbean. What's the current mood right now in Miami from your perspective?
I mean, things have slowed down, of course, but it doesn't feel like that we're on a shutdown like some of the rest of the world. I mean, I'm still, I still go outside. I work out every day with a couple friends of mine, and we definitely practice social distance. But you see a lot of people outside moving around. The weather's nice down here, so it's hard. It's hard to stay in the house. But it's. I don't think it's as bad as some other places around the world.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, my prayers go to you. Your family, stay safe, keep healthy, and keep doing what you do. So let's tell this world right now, because we only have a short period of time. Everyone's got to get to their weekends, their family, their loved ones. I mean, I even promised a particular individual, I won't get to her quite yet, but she knows who she is, to let her know why you two need to hook up. So more on that in a minute. But all kidding aside, you were a professional athlete. Tell us what it was like to be in the NBA for the time that you were, and what it meant for you to even play at that level of game, given who you were.
I mean, it meant a lot for me coming from, I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. From my high school, from my area, we didn't have a lot of pro guys. We didn't have a lot of guys that made it to that level. And that was, from a young age, was always a dream of mine. And to make it, especially my first year I played with the Miami Heat, with Shaq, with D Wade, with Gary Payton, Antoine Walker, James Posey, all these guys, Jason Williams, like Pat Riley was the coach. And
I never heard of any of these people. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know who are these guys.
Legends, man. Those are legends.
Legends. And I was looking at a picture the other day on the bench, Alonzo Mourning, like 6 of the guys that I'm sitting next to are definitely Hall of Famers, or if they're not in already. So just to be in the presence of those guys my rookie year, here, this is like home. I went to school here too. So it was a blessing, man, and a dream come true.
Well, and all that being said, I mean, you definitely are someone who trains very hard. You got to where you got to go. You played your games, you paid your dues, and then it's like, something changes, something happens.
Right.
When you begin to know that life in the pro league was about to come to an end, what were the conversations like for you? What was the discussions in your mind about, redefining yourself and discovering a new path and reinventing yourself? What was that moment like, transitioning out of pro sport with those celebrities and heading into a whole different domain?
For me, it was an injury. I tore my Achilles in 2012, and it forced me to open my eyes. Like, man, this basketball thing could be over. Like, I could never play again if this injury doesn't heal correctly or things just don't work out. So it forced me to think about life after basketball, because prior to that, most athletes were locked in. Our sport is playing A, B, C, all the way to Z. So when that injury came, I always was intrigued by real estate. And I actually had took the online course while I was rehabbing, and at home, I had nothing else to do. So I took the online course here in Florida, but I never came and took the test because I was in Cincinnati at the time. So I moved back to Miami, took the class, took the test, and, started to focus on, building for things. When I finished playing, I had things already working, already going real estate. I started doing network marketing. And just different things and putting my hand in different things to find out what fit me and what would work for me. And real estate definitely has been amazing for me, especially this last year. And, we're just going to keep pushing.
Well, before you go too far in that real estate, one of the things I want people to pick up on, because these aren't just courageous conversations, they're coachable conversations. And by the way, Robert, so good to see you, man. You know how much I got for you and respect I've got for you being here with my friends, man. But with all kidding aside, I mean, think about that, folks. Robert was sidelined, was laid up, and found inside that dead time the opportunity to, in fact, reinvent himself by doing some online courses. And I think to myself, like, right now, this is where the world is right now. People are sequestered to their homes. I mean, they can't necessarily do much. And as a result, they're wondering, well, what do I do? How do I reinvent myself? And some people get dealt a bad card by losing their job, losing some income, being furloughed, their services being suspended. What advice would you give people if they're noticing that there's a time or a moment or a need to reinvent themselves, even though they don't know how it's going to play out, Robert?
I mean, we all have something that we've always wanted to do, whether we didn't have the time, we didn't have the money, especially with the internet now and social media, things are a lot more accessible. it's a lot easier to get training on different things and different avenues and different areas of what you want to do. But now it's the time to try. I mean, we all have pretty much more time than we need to do whatever those things are that we couldn't do before because we didn't have time. We had to work, we have kids, or whatever the case may be. And, you know, now we have to be creative. We have to think outside the box. We have to think about, you know, we don't know what the new normal is going to be when all this is over. So this is the time to, you know, talk to friends, talk to yourself, talk to your spouse, and figure out different ways to, you know, get income. And reach down deep into your creative box and figure out, you know, what are those things that you always wanted to do, and just try it. Like, failure is not an option. You know, and that's something I live by. I don't mind not getting it right the first time, the second time, but I'm gonna keep trying until it works out.
Now, do you find that resilience, because I'm sure that same resilience is what got you in the NBA, because that's a whole different level of game. That ain't no average, you know, YMCA scrimmage match kind of culture. I mean, that's a different game, and especially playing with the likes of Shaq and D Wade. For those who are just joining us, welcome. We're joined by Robert Hite, former Miami Heat player, dear friend, and now in the real estate game, and here with all of you on a courageous conversation over cocktails or water or aqua or Jamba Juice, whatever it might be. But so welcome everybody. Robert, you know, with that being said, do you find that you always have had to be resilient? Did you always find yourself, as you struggled to get yourself then to come to terms with leaving the game and getting into sort of business for yourself, did you find it a struggle?
For me, not really. I'm so self-motivated just to be successful in whatever I do. You know, as an athlete, my dream was always to get to the NBA, and I was willing to put in the work to get there. So when it came time to focus more on life after basketball, it's the same mindset for me, and that's just to keep pushing. One of my favorite quotes that I tell myself every day, it's on my email and everything, is progress, not perfection. None of us are perfect, you know. Every day I just try to get better. So, you know, that's how I approach everything in life, whether it's sports, business, relationships, friendships, whatever it is.
Hey man, I mean, for everybody right now, you know, look up Robert Hite right now on Instagram. And if you ever want some inspiration, if you ever want to really find out what next level of training and being and promoting looks like, follow him on Instagram, because I got to tell you something. Every time I follow him, number one, I feel like I'm missing an ab or two. Number two, I always feel like I'm just doing about maybe 100 push-ups too few. But either way, man, just walking and being a demonstration of a standard, you know, whether it's this 10X thing or whether it's your thing, it's got to be something. And I mean, now here's where I got to go to. You get into real estate and you're playing the game. And rumor has it that you actually sold a $24 million piece of property to David Beckham. Is this true?
This is true. Actually, just closed about a week or two ago.
Dude, let's, you know, congratulations. Let's give him some love in that chat room. Let's give him an applause. Let's give him some love. I mean, that brings up two really big questions. You know, number one is, when are we going to go play scrimmage with David? That's question number one.
Right.
You got to film a thing or two. But all kidding aside, I mean, people on this call are going to want to know, wow, I'm inspired by Robert really reinventing himself with the same discipline that got him into the NBA to get ahead in life. But gosh, like, how do you go and meet someone like a David Beckham? Like, it doesn't, obviously you're not related to him because, you know, he's shorter than you. But I mean, you know, you hustled in some different way. Can you share with us what that looks like in your world, from your view, so our friends can understand how they can be inspired by the things that you do and what it takes to connect with the likes of a David Beckham?
So for me, my main focus the last 4 or 5 years has been networking, relationships, and not just networking, just to network, like really building quality relationships with people. And you know, I've been blessed because I played in the NBA, I played overseas. I went to school here in Miami. So I've built a lot of great relationships over time, and life is about who you know. And David Beckham was brought to me, and my brother, I call him my brother Keaton, my guy, right? Through another friend that we played college ball with. And, you know, the rest is history. So, I teach and I preach to people that relationships are everything. The way you treat people, the way you greet people, whether you know them, whether you don't know them, it means everything, because you never know who might throw you a David Beckham deal, who might open the door for you that you couldn't open yourself. And that's really big for me.
I'm going to be a little bit rude, but somewhat American, and interrupt you for a second. So check this out. And for all of you know, I'm Canadian, so being American is very unusual. But check this out. I got to pull something back, because you just hit a very important secret that I don't think a lot of people get. And that's this, is there's something about professional players, particularly in the NBA, that are uber classy, are very humble and super grateful. Now, it's not the case across all of them. I've met a lot of different types. But you,
Right.
my friend, exercise such a gentleman quality of uber respect. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
I
think
was raised like that. My parents, I respect everybody. Respect is earned, but it's also, you have to make me not want to respect you. Because we're all human beings. We all have been through different struggles. We've done different things, gone to different levels, but that doesn't make you better than anybody. And that's how I approach everybody. That's how I treat everybody. And it means a lot, because I want to be treated the same.
No, 100%. So I just want to make sure that everyone adds that down. If you're making any notes right now, these are not just courageous conversations, but these are coachable moments. One of the things I got to just say is I'm always enamored about Robert and his decorum. Write that down. Decorum is class. It's a sense of panache. There's gratitude there, but at the same time, and more importantly, he truly is grateful. And that's why anytime and every time I have a chance to find something to do or get something done with Robert, I call him up, and when we get to doing something, and we're working on a few things, maybe we can talk about them in a few minutes. So with that being said, you end up getting introduced to a David Beckham. Of course, he and Victoria need a $24 million condo. That sounds about average to me, according to their net worth. But tell me, what are some of the other peripheral circumstances you've got to mind and manage? Because I don't imagine it's a straight line to getting a deal done. I'm sure people are attacking you and your credibility or your profile, or trying to get in the back door. Explain to us how you're able to contain that relationship and fend off the negativity and all the vultures.
For me, it's simple, because I don't surround myself with certain individuals and certain people with certain energies. We keep a tight circle, and this deal, we worked on this deal for 9 months. And, it was more so just getting the details and the numbers right on both sides, and timing, of course. But for me, I didn't have those issues really, because we kept it in-house. We kept everything on the hush, everything quiet, everything in-house. Everybody was on the same page, with the same mission and the same goal. So we didn't have those issues. It just was a timing thing, just to get, the details right.
Now, by the way, I just want to point something out, because again, you're not going to see this as obvious as I do. But I mean, I don't know about you, Robert, but I didn't notice you IGing any time with David Beckham. I didn't notice no posts of any kind, even the property in which you were having him consider. I mean, It truly was a great script kept under wraps, even until it was closed.
Right.
And you were then forced to make it the news, because it was newsworthy.
Yes.
So I'm sensing that in the world that we live in, where everyone wants to post everything, and there's always a picture in the making, and there's always an anxiousness, a race to actually get it up, get it out. You've got to actually practice a bit of counterintuition, which is to say, I'm going to keep this quiet. I'm going to keep it selective. Is that true?
It's very true. I mean, especially for a deal like that and somebody of that stature, David Beckham, Victoria Beckham are huge. And we did have one little hiccup where the paparazzi got a picture of them at the building way before the deal was closed. And it caused a little bit of issues, but we squashed that real quick, and, we kept it moving. But yeah, the end goal was more important than getting some more followers on Instagram.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
So I want you all to notice that sometimes when you're committed to the deal, rather than trying to be important, the deal happens.
Yeah.
But when you put a lot of time and effort and energy in being important, sometimes it comes at the cost of a deal.
Exactly.
And so I think I just really want to acknowledge you for that, where it's just very counterintuitive for a lot of people, where they're like, no, I'm in action. I'm doing this. I want the world to know that I'm important and I got progress being made. You ain't doing it for nobody. You got to be doing it for yourself. And that's really important.
I mean, moving in silence.
Please.
In silence too. one thing, moving in silence will keep the haters and the naysayers from messing up the deal. You know, the more you put it out there, the more you give people a chance to talk bad about you or talk bad about your client or whatever it is you're trying to do. Like, so I just practice that where until it's about to close or we've already agreed everything's been signed and our money has been transferred, then I'm not going to talk about it.
No, of course not, and nor should you. But one thing is for certain, and now this is consistent. I remember the last time we had a delight for dinner. We were chilling out in Miami, and your brother was with us, and we sat down, and within a matter of minutes, you remember what kind of deal we came up with?
I don't remember which one, because we didn't talk about.
He says, "Hey, Rich, man, what do you think? $2, $3, $4 billion? We'll buy a piece of the Miami Heat. What do you think?"
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
And I said, and he said it with such a straight face.
Right.
Like I mean, a 3, 4, and we didn't even order hors d'oeuvres or anything. I mean, he just went straight for like, "Hey, Rich, what do you think about $4 or $5 billion for the Miami Heat?" And so in that moment, I was like, "Sure, that could happen."
Make it happen.
And but I want to just acknowledge you for something, because we really truly actually wrapped our minds around that day. So it brings up another conversation, which is leading into what you're really up to next. Before I get to big three, is to always be thinking big.
Exactly.
You know, it sounds like thinking big is always a big part of who Robert is. Would that be true? And if so, how so? Where else does playing big show up for you, Robert?
I mean, for me, I'm a why person. Why not me? Why can't I do it too? If it's been done by somebody else, why can't I do it? And you know, having the network that I have and been blessed to have, the people I've been around, and meeting people like yourself. I mean, we have access to pretty much whatever we need to get things done. It's just a matter of speaking it and putting it out there into the universe, and you know, putting the work in to try to make it happen. And that's especially more so now than ever because of the network that I've been, the things that I'm doing now. I've had some conversations that I never would have dreamed of having in the last couple of years with a few different billionaires. And for me, coming from small town in Cincinnati to, you know, some of the conversations that I've been in and closing the deal with David Beckham is just fuel to the fire for me. Like, we could do anything.
Now, what he's talking about, folks, is the power of proximity, that your network is your net worth. Like, I mean, do you think his deal is going to start going down in size or going up in size? Everyone point with me. Point with me. Don't spill your drink. You know, go up, right? I saw you, Lauren. Randy gave you the double fingers. I don't know what that means, but we'll keep that friendly, Randy. Good to see you, buddy. So all kidding aside, but proximity is power. And I mean, I've had the delight of bringing Robert Hite to my 10X headquarters, Miami office. And I mean, I've introduced Grant to people before, but I've never seen Grant get so excited when it comes to meeting Robert, because Robert embodies so much. He embodies both performance as an athlete, but also a real estate guy, because he's in the real estate business. What was your experience like meeting Grant from your perspective?
First of all, Grant's energy is amazing. I definitely could. That's somebody I could be around and I would love to learn more from.
Well, we got plans for you, big guy. Don't
yeah,
you?
I'm excited too. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, no, I've been watching Grant, you know, prior to meeting him. So I follow him on Instagram and, you know, just been paying attention to what he's doing and kind of how he's doing it, and I love it. And I'm looking forward to us, you know, doing some amazing things together.
Well, one of the dreams and ambitions that Grant and I share for you, by the way, so I'm kind of letting a little bit of the cat out of the bag, but I want to get to a next conversation about where you're at right now that really is intriguing, is really taking a stand for being able to bring some great real estate investment education to the world of sport. I mean, I've been a huge proponent of that, as you know. My good friend, Juwan Howard, and I launched an initiative called P5 many years ago. I mean, that dude is... They don't come much more solid. Y'all must be grown off the same tree. I mean, you guys are all the same. Cut tight, beautiful people. Yeah, solid. He's good family. But I mean, understanding the role of real estate, especially in these times of concern and crisis where cash flow is king, is something that I know we'll be championing together to bring to all athletes across all leagues.